most people who are eligible for the awards, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, they've already hit that 65 game mark. So we can go ahead and start anointing guys currently. So starting off with the award that everybody loves, the MVP, who's it go to?
Shai.
Wow. Okay. Make the argument.
I mean, his team is a top 3 team in the NBA. He's career high in things, not just like points. He's career high in field goal percentage. He's career high in free throws attempted. He's career high in basically everything. He's having the best season of his career. His team is having the best season in the history of its team. You might have to fact check me on that, going back to, the old school days with the beard and all that stuff. But they're the next level. They're really good on defense. They're really good on offense. They're younger than the North Carolina college team. Their starting lineup is younger than them. And I just think that Joker, okay, like, let's get some fresh blood in the awards. The NBA is almost demanded to make it Luka or make it Shai, because your stars of yesteryear are fading. LeBron is fading. Kevin Durant is fading. Steph Curry is fading. You need to put new faces in front of the audience to build the next generation of NBA fandom. And so it needs to be Shai or it needs to be Luka. It can't be a retread. We need something new. And I don't care about what the award is supposed to signify. This is about building the game of basketball, and the game has started to shrink and we need to expand it again. And the only way to do that is to create new stars and get new people out in front of the fans. And so I think it's Shai.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go chalk, and I'm just gonna say Jokic. I put in a couple of things here because I wasn't sure where, just for complete transparency, for a lot of the stuff that we go over, that Drew and I go over, we don't share a ton of opinions if we know we're going to go over in the podcast that week. So if we have a mock draft that's going to come out today, and we know we're doing mock draft 4.0 by Monday or Tuesday, we're not sending each other mock drafts on what we would do so we can prepare for it. We're just kind of go on the fly. So same thing with these awards. I wasn't sure what we were going to prepare for, so I did put down SGA stuff, and I did put down Luka stuff as well. For the SGA stuff, I think the argument against Jokic for SGA over Jokic is probably based a lot upon the 4 more points per game that he scores. Obviously, he gets the 2.1 assists per game. Yeah, so looking at stats, stacking up, Jokic is at 26.4, while SGA is at 30.3, 12.3 rebounds for Jokic, while 5.5 for SGA, 9 assists for Jokic, while SGA is at 6.3, and 2.1 assists to Jokic's 1.3, and then they both averaged 0.9 blocks. So that 4 points a game is definitely going to make a difference. But when you look at the field goals per game that they get, so 19.9 field goals per attempted per night is what SGA does. That's 2 more than Jokic. It does make a difference. But the thing is also that defensively, SGA, whether he's on the court or not, the Thunder are a top 4 defense in the league. If Jokic is on the floor, the Nuggets are a top 4 defense. If he's off the floor, they're a top 11 defense. So it makes a difference whether he is on the floor or not. So I get that 2.1 assists is more than Jokic's. I know they average the same amount of blocks, but defensively looking at the team, Jokic makes a difference more than SGA does. And I do like new life and new blood into it. I think that last year is probably Jokic's award. This year should have been probably Joel Embiid's award if he doesn't get hurt. And then maybe we're looking at this a little bit differently. As much as I don't like Joel Embiid, as much as I don't think he should have won MVP last year, he probably should have gotten it this year if he stays healthy. So in my mind, Jokic is the MVP. But the team success with him, the differences of how successful that team is on and off the court, I think it's too much of a difference.
Steve Nash stole 2 MVP awards from the late, great Kobe Bryant. So you can miss me on it needing to make sense. It don't need to make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't need to be a statistically based. The Nuggets have been there. Joker has been there, done that, etc., etc. What OKC is doing this year is freaking amazing. and let's reward them for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can get with that. And I think that we're going to be looking at very, 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 very soon. An Ant MVP in the next 2-3 years is something that we're going to be looking at too. So another top team in the league, another top young team in the West. I think we're looking at an Anthony Edwards MVP season coming and loading.
And full disclosure on this, he already mentioned it, but I texted Jacob earlier this week and said, hey, let's do an NBA awards segment. He's like, okay. And that's the only discussions we had on it. The current top 5 favorites for all NBA are Luka, Joker, Shai, Ant, and I think Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're top 5 all NBA, first team all NBA, you're in the MVP conversation. So I'm 1000% with you on Ant, man. Anthony is just
nasty.
Next level. So
yeah,
agreed.
I remember you and I talking about the Timberwolves a little bit at the beginning of the season. I remember how they looked really good defensively, and I was like, yeah, we'll see. They play us really, really soon, and they ended up playing us. And I still remember Ant had 5 fouls with there was still 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and then we went into overtime. Didn't foul again, but took over the game, ended up winning the game for the Timberwolves. And I'm like, dude, they're legit. They are here. And obviously they kept that up from the beginning to the end now. Even with Cat being out, he stepped up in a big way with him exiting. Looking at Rookie of the Year, we want to make this simple and move on. Wemby. Yeah.
Wemby.
I think that there was a big discussion for Chet at the beginning of the season. I was more of a Chet guy. Again, the very beginning of the season, I'm like, hey,
you predicted Chet.
You look at Chet and I was like, you look at Chet and you look at the stuff that's that you see him defensively and what he's doing, and he's more efficient. And then Wemby just kept it up, and then he turned it on more and more, and he's getting better and better and better and better. And now you can't deny it. So Wemby definitely gets that one. I think Brandon Miller deserves some recognition too, because a lot of people hated that pick from Charlotte, and he's balled out. So shout out to him, because there's a lot of guys who hated that pick, and you look pretty damn good. Shout out to Scoot too. I think we're going to see a better Scoot Henderson year next year. Point guards are a really hard position to play in the NBA, and a lot of rookie point guards do not work out in their rookie year. So, don't knock him yet, because I think he's going to become a lot better.
Yeah, and I mean, shout out also to Chet. He's had an awesome season. The fact that he's not going to win the award is not any type of negativity on him. Tyreek Evans won the Rookie of the Year award over Steph Curry once upon a time. So 25-5 he averaged, by the way.
6 man of the year. I think there's 3 guys who are sitting here that you can have a conversation.
No, there's not. There's only one. It's Malik fucking Monk. He's the 6th man of the year, and I'm not hearing anything else. I don't give a damn that he's hurt. He's the second best player on the Kings, and he's the reason why they were, why they're so good. And the fact that he's going to miss the rest of the season and into the playoffs sucks for us, and it's kind of dampened my entire heart on these playoffs. But it's Malik Monk. I don't want to hear any more shit about anybody else. It's Malik Monk. I don't give a hell. That's it.
Yeah, I think it's probably Malik Monk. I just want to see if I can get you riled up. When you're looking just at February, when you're coming down the stretch, right? February, March is incredibly important. When you're looking at February, 18.2 points per game on 49% shooting in the month of February. And then for the beginning of March, you're looking at 21 points per game on 47% of shooting, which just continued to help him. But then he started to go hot and cold a little bit in March, including an 0 for 11 and a 0-point eyesore. Against the Magic's defense.
He still had 7 assists that game, though. 6 assists, something like that.
He already played 72 games, so he's already eligible for the award. We're good. Yeah, I do think it's Malik Monk. I do think there has to be shout out for a couple of guys. Naz Reid should get a shout out for sure, stepping up in a huge way, and he's a big fan favorite. And I also think Norman Powell should get some flowers too. You see how much when Norman Powell went out and he wasn't playing for the Clippers, how much that affected that team more than some of their stars being out. Norman Powell is a huge part of that Clippers team, and when he's not on the court, it makes all the difference in the world. So I think those guys should get some recognition on top of Malik Monk winning it. But yeah, it's probably Malik Monk, but I'm glad that we could get that out of you.
At the height of the Six Man a Year award, some of the most feared six men in the world, like in the history of the NBA, was the Jamal Crawford type, where when whoever's starting at the two guard that night left and he came on the court, you're like, oh shit, they just got better. Same way for the Kings. I love Kevin Huerter, who is out for the season also. But when Kevin Huerter sits down and Malik Monk comes onto the court and that Kentucky connection starts going crazy, it's just another level out there. So,
yeah, definitely. All right. Defensive player of the year. Who you got?
Do you want me to tell you who's going to win it or who should win it?
Who do you have for defensive player of the year?
I would vote for Wembanyama.
Yes. Okay. I wrote this huge long thing for Wemby, and I'm like, man, I hope he says Wemby, man, because I wrote this like long ass thing that takes up half a page for Wemby.
I think the betting favorite right now is Gobert, but Wembanyama has more blocks. He's averaging more blocks than Gobert. Like, it's just Gobert is lazy analysis, and I hate that shit because, hey, shout out to Rudy Gobert. His ass gets played off the court in the playoffs. They literally bench his ass because he cannot bring to the table what needs to bring. Now, we'll see what they do this year. That's a really good defensive team they got out there, but I'm not giving Gobert the award just because the Minnesota Timberwolves are a great team defensively. Screw that. Wembanyama is awesome. Give him Rookie of the Year and give him Defensive Player of the Year. Or just give him Defensive Player of the Year, and you can give Chet Rookie of the Year. I don't give a crap, but Wembanyama deserves it. And again, Gobert, boring. The most significant thing Gobert's done in the past couple of years is touch all the microphones and be the first NBA player to come down with COVID. So that we don't need to celebrate that guy anymore. And we don't. Let's celebrate Wembanyama. Let's celebrate Shai. Not even going to say it. Shai Alexander. You know what I'm saying? Like, get these new guys out there on the billboard. Wembanyama, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he has a league-leading 223 blocks, which, by the way, that is far and away better than how many Gobert had in one of his Defensive Player of the Years, along with 21 games with at least 5 blocks. 5 blocks. In league history, only 4 rookies had more games with 5 blocks. Manute Bol, David Robinson, Alonzo Mourning, and Shaq. A lot of really good defensive players. But you're also looking at guys who were older as rookies coming in. So Shaq, older, 23. From what we see now, guys coming in super young. Alonzo Mourning, David Robinson was really old coming in as a rookie. Manute Bol was old as shit coming in. So Wemby's 20, 21, and he's doing this. It's kind of ridiculous. Wemby's defensive package also includes more than just being a shot blocker. He ranks 20th in the league in steals, which again, we're talking about far and away better than where Gobert was in one of his Defensive Player of the Years. And it's hard to imagine anybody else leading the league in a category that's not tracked. The category of, oh shit, someone's in the paint, I'm going to run away. How many clips have we seen? Dude's literally running in the paint and Wemby literally just standing with his arms at his side, just staring at him and just rounds in the paint and then passes it off for a 3 instead because Wemby's staring at him. It's insane that the dude could literally stand there, stare at you, arms down, you go, oh shit, I got some space, and put your arms up, and he just all of a sudden puts his hand out and it's on the ball, and you're going, damn, bro, he gets there fast. And it's just this crazy like wingspan you don't see ever. And if depending on how much you value the word of a former Defensive Player of the Year, a certain one said Wemby is definitely Defensive Player of the Year on a certain podcast. The way that he impacts the game, both on the defensive end, whether it's off the ball or on the ball, you drive into the lane, you get a layup, you see Wemby, you just go the other way. Mr. Draymond Green is an advocate for Mr. Victor Wembanyama. So I think Wemby should get it as well. I've been really excited looking. You just look at the stats. You look at the previous winners. You look at what he's done. You look at just playing the games. Wemby affects the court everywhere he's at on a team that's just god awful. And, you know, he affects it. Their defensive rating is 117.2 when he's on the court and 123 when he's off.
Can I change my pick?
Okay, go ahead.
I don't want to agree with Draymond Green on anything, so
okay.
I'm changing to James Harden.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at the way he jumped at Kawhi, and I think that's clearly.
James Harden is so committed to defense. He's guarding his own players, dog. You can't not tell me that man ain't committed to the defense. Dude. James Harden loves the D.
Crazy. It's funny because playing 2K, there's been a couple of times where like, we're all shifting, we're all moving around trying to create something going on, and I'll come in and I'll cut across under the basket and I come round out to the wing of the three, and all of a sudden someone else is like comes across at the same time and we both meet in the middle and the ball gets past. I'm like, oh shit, I'm James Harding you right now. Like just all the time. It's just been a massive joke for the past like 2 weeks since it's
I bet.
happened. Most improved player award. I think this one's more interesting than people are making it out to be. Who do you have for most improved player?
I honestly hate this award. I don't
Yeah.
think it makes any sense year after year. I couldn't tell you who the favorites are because I didn't do any research on any of this. This is all just off the gut. You know what I would do is if Shai doesn't get the MVP, I would give him most improved. You know who else I would give most improved to? Jalen frickin' Brunson. That dude's a frickin' beast, and he's took the next step. Murray over there in Atlanta, we already talked about him. Most improved to me, I like when it's a role player that goes to stardom or stardom that goes to superstar. I thought last year De'Aaron Fox could have been most improved player. So it's just one of those things. I don't have too strong of a thought on this, but tell me who it is.
So there's three guys who are the odds-on favorites, and two of the guys, and I hate the trend that the award's going in, and I think this is why you probably hate it too. The trend of the award is young guys who are hitting their second year, third year, fourth year, and hitting that big improvement we see from a lot of guys who end up hitting stardom. Why should we give it to guys who are just improving year after year? We should give it to guys who have been in the league for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they just blow up randomly, and you're like, that's not supposed to happen. Even if it's not super stardom, even if it's not crazy numbers, they should get solid recognition. And the top three right now is Tyrese Maxey's at the 1, Coby White is at the 2, which is my pick, and Jalen Williams is at the 3, which it's like Jalen Williams is a second-year player, and he's taking a step in the right direction.
White. That dude is killing it. I changed my mind. It's Coby White. I agree. That's a great pick. That dude. I would love to do a random poll of fans right now. Who can name the team that Coby White plays for? Right? I'm just going to throw that out there. Who does Coby White play for? Because you know what? I didn't really know the name that well. And then the Kings played him, and this dude, I think he dropped 40 on us. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, man. His statistical averages have increased this year across the board. 19.7 points, 4.8 rebounds, 5.3 assists, all career best. And then you could say, oh, well, he's playing a ton of minutes. He's almost leading the league in minutes. Congratulations. He also shoots a career high of 45.6% from the floor. The only thing that's dropped a little bit is his free throw percentage at 83.7, which his career high is 84.8. So not that much lower. He's still right there again. Yes, he's playing a ton of minutes for a really bad Bulls team, but he's also stepped up in a big way. He's the second best player on that team, right behind DeMar DeRozan. So I think Coby White should get it. Tyrese Maxey might win it, unfortunately, but Coby White deserves it in my eyes.
I mean, shout out to Maxey also. Like he's improved really well.
No, absolutely.
Coby White should definitely get it. I mean, I'm like worried about Caruso. I'm worried about DeRozan. And then all of a sudden this dude was just raining threes on us. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Tired of losing to these piss poor teams. But yeah, shout out to him. He might be an interesting trade target in the offseason. Somebody's got to save him, go get his ass and put him on. I mean, that would... I'll tell you what, I would take him on my team right now. Make him the second. We go Fox, Coby White, and Sabonis. I'd stack us up against anyone that's not wearing a green shamrock on their chest.
Yeah, Coby White just signed this year, too. He's getting a base salary of $11.1 million this year. Yeah, so
cheap.
Yeah. Next year, he ends up hitting $12 million a year.
He's like, shit, why did I sign? I should have waited.
Yeah, right? He's definitely he's gonna be an interesting trade target for a Bulls team that's gonna end up blowing up here in a second, and they should. So, Coach of the Year. This is an award that is not that interesting to me. So, who's your Coach of the Year? To me, it's the Thunder's coach. It's probably who it is.
You give it. I mean, I might give it to Minnesota also. I mean,
it's both go either way. One of those teams that wasn't supposed to be this good and is that good. Yeah, it's gonna go to one of those two guys.
Pretty